G'day folks, hope you're doing well. So about 5 years ago, I released the simple OBJ Exporter for Maya. So this was a little tool I put out on Gumroad for free. Basically the idea was, extremely fast, repeatable one-click exports of single or multiple meshes from Maya. So at the time the motivation was, if you're sending a block out to ZBrush, or you're sending a bunch of trims to ZBrush, or you want to put take your high res from Maya into a Baker or any of that sort of stuff, be able to set up the settings once, and then you have like a shelf button that you can just sort of hammer away at anytime you need to update the exported version. So very simple tool, but quite well received, I'm happy to say. Like, I got a lot of really nice comments and messages and an email here and there. And that was lovely. Like, that's so cool to me because, it's like a main motivator of getting a tool like this out into the hands of artists is to make their lives easier. So mission accomplished as far as that goes. That's very cool. And I'm very, very proud and happy that I was able to do that. However, in more recent years, I've sort of moved away from Maya. I'm like very rarely using it, just because my day-to-day job now is more like Houdini and stuff like that. So occasionally I'm still using it for odds and ends on different jobs and that, but mainly, I'm kind of pretty far away from it. So I'm not on top of the API as I used to be. So when I see comments more recently of like, oh, it doesn't work in 2024 without me changing this, or I had this problem in 2023 and that, it kind of fills me with dread because I don't really, I'm not really as familiar with the Maya API as I used to be. And once I stopped using Maya, I think a lot of that brain space sort of freed up and other stuff has moved in. So not on top of it as I used to be. So what I wanted to do, because I basically can't guarantee that I'll be able to like commit to fixing bugs or continuing to improve the tool or anything like that, was make it proper open source. So it's now on GitHub. If I scroll down here and go to the license, it's now covered by a proper open source MIT license. So you can be a student and use it. You can be a studio and use it. You can do whatever. You can edit parts of it. You can steal parts of it. Well, not stealing because it's open source, but you know what I mean? You can copy and do whatever you want with it. On the other hand, I can't provide any warranty on the quality of, the tool, or guarantee that it's going to do what you want, or anything like that. So the idea being that because I can't commit to it, I can't guarantee that I'll be able to continue working on it or updating it, or even if I'm probably the best person to do it, given how little I use Maya now. I want to put it out there proper open source. However, when I went to go do that, I did see a lot of the code and think, I could probably do this better now. And that kind of, unfortunately for me, kicked off a 2-week period of me tinkering away with it in the evenings. And now I've got it to a state where it's, I'm really happy it's proper Maya 2024 and Maya 2025 compatible. And I think that's a great place to sort of leave it and set it off into the open source world. So I do want to show you how to install this now, because the video on this channel previously will be entirely incorrect now. So here we are on GitHub. If you haven't used GitHub before, that's totally fine. It's not at all scary. There's the list of the files here in the repository and a README here, installation instructions, some usage instructions, all sorts of stuff to read through if you want. But most importantly for us is this releases here. So if we click here, this will show you, these are basically snapshots of the repository at different times. So here, this was when I first put it onto GitHub and put it under the MIT license. So if you were to download it from Gumroad, this is like exactly that version, but covered by the MIT license. The reason I have it as a tag, it's called, or a release here, is because there is compatibility with, it was tested with older versions, whereas I can't guarantee the newer version is probably going to work with those. I imagine it probably will, but it might not. So I wanted to put that there just in case. But the majority of people, I'd say you want to grab this Maya 2024, 2025 version. A few different quality of life improvements in here, and I rewrote a bunch of it basically. But like I said, I'm really happy with the state it's in now, and I think it's a good spot to like push it off into the future. So to download, we just click the source code here, which downloads a zip. You can see I've already downloaded this once because I found another bug in it, which is fun. But if I go to my downloads folder here, I've got the zip file here. I'm just going to shift right click to unzip that with 7-zip. And then if I can jump here, I've got my Maya user preferences folder. So this is in your users, whatever your username is, documents, Maya, and there'll be a folder for each version of Maya that you currently have installed, or in this case, I guess previously had installed as well. So in 2025, if we jump in here, what you see is these two folders kind of mirror what is in your user preferences. So if I jump into prefs here, you see there's an icon and a shelves and an icon and a shelf. So all that, is like that basically. So what you can do, just grab these two folders here and drag it over whatever you want to install it into. That's the easiest way to do it. This is your license, obviously, and the README and the cover image. You don't have to worry about those. That's what you basically need to do to install it. I will open Maya here. So now in your Maya, you should see OBJ Export Import as a shelf here. So two buttons here. Left one with arrow out of the box is export. Right one with arrow into the box is import. If you have your own custom shelf or whatever, you can see here, I've just got like the default Maya ones because I haven't really used Maya in a while. So if you want, you can middle mouse drag them onto your own shelf if you want. And then once you've done that, you can just click on the cog here and delete shelf if you want to get rid of the shelf that the tool creates. Totally up to you. And then also just make sure you save all shelves. If I'm remembering all my Maya correctly, I'm pretty sure you want to delete and then save all shelves after. What I'll do is I've dug out an old scene, a very old project scene of mine here. So old, it was actually in the student version, I guess when I was at university. But this is a Barbasol can I made, like the Jurassic Park Barbasol can. And I'll use this as a demo file here to sort of explain what's going on. So with nothing selected, if we click export, it will open the settings window. With a single thing selected, if we click export, it will export it. And you can see it's exported it as an OBJ to a default directory because I haven't changed anything yet. If we select multiple things and hit export, you can see it's exported 3 of 3. So if I bring up script editor here, you can see it's successfully exported 3 different files here, the objects and basically the names, the file names it's ended up with there. If I just jump back here, they're the names of the meshes in the scene. So that's if you change nothing. If you just open it up and click that, it's going to export it. Where it exports it to is in your workspace. So, that's sort of the default location is your workspace there, or maybe one level up from the workspace. I can't quite remember, but with nothing selected, I'll open this. So we go into the options and yeah, let's run through these quick. So these are the export options, pretty self-explanatory. If you want dialogues pop up each time you export, so if you want to not override it basically each time, you can do so. Triangulate mesh, move to origin. For example, with these move to origin, it would move each of these so that the pivot is at the world origin, which can be handy if you've got a modular kit or a trim sheets that you're taking or something. Combine meshes is new. You can see when I tick that, it grays out the batch OBJ export path because when you combine, it will actually write to a single. You select multiple, and when you hit export, it'll write to a single. So it kind of is going to deactivate the batch OBJ sort of, mode of the tool. OBJ export specifics. These are just normal Maya export options that I'm just exposing here to you. If you have specific flags you want to tick or whatever, go for it. The tool options, so this is for at the moment all it has here is the file browser. So if I click here, you see this is a Maya style file browser with, the Maya UI and your workspace and folder bookmarks and that. If I flick this to native, it will be the OS. So in my case, Windows. The reason this is in here is maybe you have shortcuts set up in Windows or in whatever your OS is, or maybe you've set up folder bookmarks in Maya. So whatever way you've done it, you can kind of choose which way you want to work, which is great. For the single OBJ export, this if we just open this up, so I'll go to my workspace root and jump one folder up. Make a new folder, shoot files, and in here, save it out as hello.obj. So that'll be where if we have a single one, let me click save settings. If we have a single one, we click save, you'll see that saves out to hello.obj. And if I select something entirely different, save it out, you're going to see it's going to override it, which is what we want, because this isn't for like final export or anything. This is just to get it out here as soon as possible, as quickly as possible, and pull it in on the other side, whatever program you're using on the other side. Bring up the options again. You can now, so this is for the batch OBJ. This is, will be a folder instead of files. So you choose a directory you want it to go to. If I just copy and paste this, you can now type directly into these lines. Before you couldn't type text in here prior. I'd sort of locked it off to only be on these two buttons because I thought that was me being safe and like forcing you to choose proper paths. But 5 years later, I'm like, you want to put junk in here? Go for it. I don't care. It's, you're the one who's going to get the error, so go for it. So maybe that's a fundamental change in how I think about making these tools now. But yes, you can now type into here, which I often copy paste, folders from Windows Explorer and stuff like that. So I basically put that in there for people like me that do things like that. So we also have load and save defaults here now. So when I click save here, what's actually happening is this getting saved to your scene, right? So this is, if you make a new scene, those settings won't necessarily be there, but they'll be in here. They'll be in the scene that you've currently working in, and you save your scene, it's going to save it in a little node in the background. If I open this back up and I go to save defaults, that'll save it to a JSON on your in your user preferences folder. And what that means is if we close all this, if I go new, don't save, and open it up again, you can see it's not giving me the default things and that default workspace in that. It's saved pretty much, or it's what I should say is it's loaded what I saved just before. It's loaded those defaults now. All this is to say that if you have a way that you like to work, or if you like to have a folder that you always, you're always setting it to, you can just set it all up once and save it as the defaults there. And then anytime you make a new scene, it's always going to have those as the default. Or alternatively, if you do change all these around and, like I said, put junk in here, or jink even, junk. Save settings and that, and now you've got like this awful thing. You can also just load your defaults back and save settings and save it back to the scene. So that's another little quality of life improvement that someone I think mentioned on ArtStation genuinely years ago. So I really apologize it took so long for me to put in quite a simple concept. I'll show combine real quick. So if we open up this options again here, I'll click combine. If I select these, if I select these and hit export, you'll see, yes, multiple selected, but it's gone to a single mesh. If I I'll open up Blender real quick and delete those, go import to OBJ and then to my folder here. Here's my hello OBJ, and you can see they're there. So that is, the meshes we just saved out. All combined into one. So that's really handy. Again, someone on ArtStation genuinely years ago was like, it would be really nice if it could export to one mesh combined, so I can bring it in on ZBrush on the other side and just split to polygroups, by parts or by connectivity or whatever it is in ZBrush. So now it's in there again, and it is cool. And I apologize. It took genuine years for me to get to doing it. So, but it is in there now. What I'll do is I'll quickly edit these. I just, how do I use Blender in here again? So let me grab these, make them tall. Now we've got tall Barbasol. And if I file, export, wait for an OBJ, back to my folder. And here we'll say this one is from blender.obj. Export. Jump back into Maya, and what I'll do is show you the import button. So when we first click this, it doesn't have an import path, so it doesn't know what it wants to import. If I jump here to my from Blender, say open that, and you see it has imported it, and it just gives it the file name, whatever that might be. Now, if I hit that again, it'll just import it again. And, it hasn't been able to give it the same name, so it's put a 1 there. So if you just, mash away, it'll just keep importing. But the idea here is that, maybe we iterate on it and we're like, whoops, actually, that's not at all what I wanted to, it was meant to be like this. I'm so foolish. I realize the error of my artistic ways now. And we save that one out and then jump back to Maya. We just have to hit that one button and here's the correct one. And so, in this case, probably get rid of that old one. But you're able to basically quickly bring imports back in again. Now, if you double click on this, you can actually, let me delete that. Let me turn off combine. Let me grab these three, export them. I'll open a new file and I'll hit my, you can see it's gone to the old one. If I double click on this to bring up this options, you can actually select multiple. So if I select those three I just imported, delete that, you can import multiple meshes at once. So if you have, like I said, trim sheets or modular kits or something, and you've set them in the options here to be those three, anytime you hit import, it'll bring however many of those selections that you had made back in. So yeah, the import is much less featured, but I still think a handy thing to have. And that's pretty much it. I think those are the only two sort of updates to it. Yeah, open source, it's on GitHub. Thank you everyone who has sent me such nice things over the last couple of years for such a small, quite simple tool. It's really nice that it was able to save people time and I won't say bring joy because that's a bit like it's a OBJ exporter, but if it helped you out and if it saved you time, then that's all I ever wanted. And I'm really happy that it could do that for you. So yeah, thanks everyone and have fun.